Hey everybody, what's going on? We're here with round 2 of the Spider 20 series featuring Drokgul for at least a couple more episodes, I would imagine. And if you have not seen the first episode of this and you want to get a feel for what I'm doing here, I'll card to it up there. You can go check it out. Basically, I'm demonstrating Drokgul's ability to step in for Miscreated Monster in a Spider dungeon. Miscreated Monster makes it so much easier, but there are a lot of people that don't have him, and Drokgul was a recent fusion that was very easy to complete, honestly. I did it on my free-to-play with relative ease, so he was not impossible to get. I hope that everybody was able to pick him up, and the more I'm using him, the more I'm loving him. I keep saying he is creeping his way into my top 5 favorite champions in the whole game. I'm such a fan of this champ. I think he is so much fun to use. I'm having a really good time putting him to work, so we're keeping it going with him today. Now, we have Syl, we have Drokgul, who I also like for this. You see who's up here in the mix. So what we're gonna do, similar to the last video, we're gonna pop over, take a look at the actual run, and then I'm gonna come back and talk a little bit more about the champs, and just address a couple of things about the series, and about the last video in general, I guess. So let's take a look at the run, we'll be right back. All right, so we've got Drok in the lead, we've got Syl, we've got Drokgul, we have Steel Skull, and we have Ignatius. Now, before anybody freaks out that I'm using Ignatius, here's a quick pick of a run I did immediately after this one with Ultimate Gallic in his spot. Basically the same result, so it's just another champ to step in with an AoE HP burn, but this principle still applies. If you've got Ultimate Gallic, put him in that spot, but what we're doing here is Drokgul is doing everything we've talked about in the previous video. Drokgul's here for the same reason. Syl is here for the same reasons. Steel Skull was basically, who can I throw into this last spot that will contribute a little bit, but not contribute so much that it couldn't be someone else. If that makes sense? So what Steel Skull is bringing, the reason that I went with him is because he has A1 poisons, which can help take down the spider faster. He's got an A2 cleanse on a 3-turn cooldown that is also a pretty substantial heal. So if anyone's eating a lot of poisons, he will occasionally be able to wipe those all off and drop a heal on someone, which can be very helpful for sure. And then on the A3, I believe it's a 4-turn cooldown, and it's a heal and a defense buff. So you have another example of a champion who everything they're doing is meaningful, but it's not the only option, right? It doesn't have to be Steel Skull, but it is very helpful. As you see right there, he just saved Drokgul, so definitely contributing pretty well here. And then Ignatius, who we'll take a look at after the run, but he's built to be used in Arena because I was using him in Arena with my Torment. So the reason that I did a run after with Ultimate Gallic was, again, just to emphasize that even though my Ignatius is in here, and even though he's going to seem like he's got crazy gear on him for a lot of earlier or mid-game players, it's not about him, right? It's about having an AoE HP burn, and I figured we'd get a new face in here for the video than Ultimate Gallic. But if he's all you got, slide Ultimate Gallic back in. It will be just as successful. So, again, a lot of the same things still apply. You've got Drok putting that shield up that is protecting everyone, and when the shield does happen to get broken, they catch that heal. It's very clutch. Again, not like Miscreated Monsters where he turns your whole health bar gray, but the mechanics of his shield are super helpful. So you can see there, that's a 2-minute and 20-second run. Not bad, all things considered. And when we take a look at the champs, you'll see kind of what I mean by that. So let's hop back over and take a look. Now, a couple things I want to go over. One, I did get very few, 2 or 3 comments on the last video indicating that they thought Kantra was the MVP of the video and that I should have been talking about her, that the video should have been about her. As you can see, that's clearly not correct. And just kind of to spite that notion, I did this when I saw that comment. So that's done. That notion is dead. I'm not saying she's not fantastic for the dungeon. I'm saying the reason that we're having success has nothing to do with her, right? That the reason we're having success is because of how we're using Drokgul, and Syl is contributing very heavily. She is very nice for this. The revive can put a run back on course. She's got the AoE stun. She's got the slow on the A1. Everything she's doing is very meaningful too. I'm surprised there wasn't more pushback about the fact that she's on the team rather than Kantra. Again, who is fantastic for this when needed, but she's not the reason. She's not the point. The point of this is Drokgul, and it's for people that don't have Monster, right? So we did that. I covered why we used Ignatius instead of Ultimate Gallic. Again, they're interchangeable. I was just showing another example of an AoE HP burn, and we're going to talk a little bit about him here in this run. Real quick before we move on to Steel Skull. Mine's built very well, obviously. That should not be a concern because I showed you we did it with Ultimate Gallic, who is unchanged from the last video, okay? So I know that he's fast and he's built for Arena. I'm using him in Arena with Tormund for certain things. So he's built to be used there. I didn't feel like moving his gear around. Again, it shouldn't be an issue. He also, I only put books in him to get the 100% chance on the HP burn. Beyond that, he has no books in him. If you can get the cooldown here, obviously that's going to be better. If he can get the HP burns up on a more regular basis, the run will probably speed up a bit, but it's not mandatory, as you can see. 75% chance is still a pretty decent chance. However, if you want to get the books in it and get it to 100%, where he's guaranteed to put it up, that'll be great. You want to make sure you're avoiding damage with him, right? Just based on the way I've been using him in Arena, his crit stats are low, and he can do some damage, so you do have to be careful. You don't want him killing the spiders. You just want him putting up HP burns and leaving them alone, right? So with him having 2 AoEs, you do want to be mindful about keeping his damage stats low, okay? So keep that in mind. He also, again, doesn't really need accuracy, and it wouldn't, if you have this skilled up, because it cannot be resisted. It might not even be a bad idea to keep the accuracy low, just so that he doesn't do the provokes, right? Just let the spiders go wherever they go. If you want to make him the tank, you could try it, but it might be better to have the accuracy low so that he's not putting up the provokes on every single spiderling when he does this, right? In a perfect world, they're all stunned anyway, but something to keep in mind. Now, Steel Skull I put in, as we said, just kind of to fill the spot. My thought was good cleanse on the A2 can probably wipe some poisons off of whoever's eating the poisons at that particular time. So definitely not a terrible option to slot in here. Also some A1 poisons to pick the spider down faster, and then the defense buff and the heal on the A3. Not a bad kit. Steel Skull is a fantastic champion. That's pretty diverse, can be taken most places and be used effectively, and I think the build here should be a testament to that. There's not even any armor on this champion, which I did not know when I put the team together. I just was thinking, who can I throw into this 5th spot that would contribute a little bit but not be unreasonable or crazy. So it was Steel Skull, and Steel Skull has no armor, apparently. So, and it still worked fine. So this is very doable. The keys to the success here are Drokgul. Syl is very important to this. I'm gonna work on getting some setups without her involved. But if you've got these 2 and an AoE HP burn, you're pretty much squared away, right? The other 2 slots are not gonna be hard to fill, and I'm gonna show more examples of this as we go. But we are gonna try to get some max HP nukers in to the mix at some point as well to kind of do hybrids of this. But understand this is an HP burn strat that we're going over, at least for the first few videos. So there was a comment on the last one. I do read y'all's comments, by the way. There was a comment on the last one that said something to the effect of defense champs are great, but without Ultimate Gallic here, nothing's happening. Something to that effect. Duh. Duh. It's an AoE HP burn strat. Of course. That's the point. I can't. Some of y'all trip me out with your goofy ass comments, man. But that's pretty much it for this one. We, again, we're going to do some alternatives that don't have this guy involved either. This, again, I leave him in just to emphasize a point. He's not fully mastered. He doesn't have crazy gear. He's not even level all the way up. The point is that with these two and a good AoE HP burn, your options are fairly open. And this is not the way that it used to be. Spider used to be much more closed off to everyone. So having a fusion that you could have very easily gotten and having a legendary champ on the login reward calendar is they're very easy to build around for this. So again, we're going to continue to do this, more variations. I'm interested to know if this is helping you guys, if you have any thoughts, any other champs you would like to see in the mix. I think in the next one, I'm probably going to try to get him out because I feel like there may be a little bit too... I'm using him because he can be effective. I'm not building the team to justify using him, if that makes sense. If we're going to have this AoE decrease accuracy in here, then we want to be putting resistance on the team to further emphasize its effectiveness, right? But we're not doing that. I'm not building the team with this guy in mind. I'm just throwing him in to show that he's a good candidate to be in here and can be built around, but he's not necessary. So we're going to get some other champs in here for the next one and probably keep the Drokgul tag team going because I really am digging it, man. Really having a good time with these two. So that's it. I hope it helped you guys. Let me know if you have any questions. And yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.